What do you have, foodies? Today we are going to make focaccia, so let's get into it. Alright foodies, first we're going to start by taking 320 milliliters of water and adding in 4 grams of active dry yeast. Give that a little mix and we're going to wait about 5 minutes for this to bloom. And while we're waiting, let's take 400 grams of flour and adding in 8 grams of salt. Give that a little mix to incorporate the salt through the flour. Now to the flour, we're going to add in 60 grams of olive oil, extra virgin of course. Then we're going to follow that up by adding in our water and yeast mixture. Start by using a spoon mixing in the water to the flour. It's going to get very sticky. We're not looking to knead the dough for this. We're looking to make sure all the flour gets hydrated by the water. And it should look just like this. Now we're going to cover this and put it in a warm spot for about 45 minutes before we do our first stretch and fold. Alright, it's been 45 minutes, so let's give this a nice stretch and fold. Using wet hands or lightly oiled hands, we're going to take the dough, grab it from one side and pull it up as far as we can without tearing it. Once we do that, we're going to turn the bowl 90 degrees and repeat that. We're going to do this for a total about 9 to 12 times. You'll notice the dough gets less sticky as you work with it as it starts to form a little ball. Now we're going to cover this again and set aside for another 45 minutes. Alright, after 45 minutes, let's get our pan ready. We're going to take a 9-inch pan. I'm using carbon steel here. You could use cast iron as well. Now I'm putting this in a 9-inch pan to help give the bread more thickness. This is going to make it great for making sandwiches. Now we're going to coat the bottom of the pan with a generous amount of olive oil. I'm using about 1/4 cup of olive oil. Depending on the size of your pan you put this in, you might need to adjust, but you want a nice layer on the bottom. Now taking our dough, we're going to add it to the pan. This is going to be very slippery as the oil is going to make it very hard to stretch, but just press it out. It'll eventually get there. If it doesn't reach the ends, don't worry about it too much because when it does its next proof, it's going to reach it, so don't worry about it. Now we're going to give that a cover and let it rest for about half an hour. Now it's time for the fun part. We're going to dimple our dough. Let's remove the cover. And forgetting that we didn't oil the top, it proofed and stuck to the top of our pan. Now we're going to give the top of the dough a nice generous helping of olive oil. Then we're going to take our fingers and just press in all over until we get little dimples all over the top of the bread. This is a very relaxing process. If you haven't done it before, I highly recommend it. It's a great stress reliever. The reason we're dimpling the dough like this is to help it rise evenly. And if you didn't do this, you'd end up more like a loaf of bread than a focaccia. And I mean, it's a lot of fun, so who doesn't want to do this? Now it's time to top our bread. I'm going to put on rosemary, oregano, and some sliced tomatoes. But feel free to add any toppings you want. You can put peaches, apples, feta, olives, it really doesn't matter. Whatever flavors you like, you can put on top of this bread. Now I'm just placing tomatoes all over the top. I'm going to follow that up with some rosemary, some dried Greek oregano from my back garden that I dried last year, and some flaky salt. And there you go. Oh, it's falling over. Let's not do that. Let's fix this. Let's try this again. Now let's place this into a 450 degree oven for about 25 to 30 minutes until it's golden brown. And then I'm going to clean up the oil I spilt everywhere. And there you have it. Fresh focaccia. Look at that. It looks so good. Oh, I can't wait to cut into this. But unfortunately, I need to wait 30 to 45 minutes. Now let's put this onto a cooling rack to help keep it crispy and to prevent the bottom from going soggy. Because I don't know about you, I don't like soggy bread. Alright, let's cut into this bread and give it a try. Now for the sexy cross section. Look at that, isn't that a thing of beauty? Fluffy, crispy focaccia bread. You can't beat it. Alright, let's give this guy a try. That is some delicious bread. Focaccia, super simple. Anyone can do it, as long as you have a couple ingredients. Give it a try. If you haven't done so already, make sure you give a thumbs up, a subscribe, and until next time, Foodie out.